Hey guys! Thank God it's almost weekend, and that also means that I'm back with another Armored Warfare quick guide. And great timing too, cause that gigantic 5GB patch 0.11 has just been released yesterday. Did you see those patch notes? The amount of improvements is both impressive and very reassuring for the future. Now, this time around, we will take a closer look at the surprisingly extensive HUD configuration options and the base building aspect of the game in general. There are plenty of interesting options ahead, so I would say let's get down to business. Let's start with looking at a rather interesting section, your own military base. That's right, by clicking the very well disguised base button in your garage, you get to your own little cow clicker. In my honest opinion, this thing is weird. It just somehow doesn't really feel like an integral part of the game, more like a tacked-on extra really. But be as it may, it's for sure useful, so it would be silly not to make the most of it. What you have here then is a passive bonus system, with the individual buildings representing the bonuses. Each day you get 100 raw materials which you can collect in order to build and upgrade your base, getting a better bonus with each time. Now, each upgrade will take an increasingly longer time to complete, taking up to several days at higher levels. As far as I noticed, at least the game really doesn't force you to log in daily for your raw materials. Even if you skip a few days, you will still collect the resources for those days as well. Now, the bonuses themselves are actually rather good, and as it does not take any gold or credits, there is really no excuse why you shouldn't capitalize on them. What you can get is the following at the moment. Your airport reduces the credit cost of your equipment, saving you money in the long run. Your helipad gives you a flat-out credit bonus for each match, and thus is my favorite bonus overall at the moment. Academy will boost the XP earning potential of your commanders, while barracks will do the same for your crew. The command center will give a hefty bonus to the global reputation, aka your free experience earned per battle. The garage will reduce your repair costs, and finally, a super cool one. Recompost will actually reduce the cost of your premium time. Now, I did never hear about a bonus like this one before, but I do like it, that's for sure. Oh, and by the way, about premium time. I don't know if this is intentional and if it will stay like this, but at the moment, premium time only ticks down when you play the game, which is almost too good to be true. Moving on, let's have a look at the UI or HUD configuration options, which you can find under the Settings menu. It was a really pleasant surprise to find such a fully customizable interface, especially as it has several great features integrated by default that are only available via mods in World of Tanks, for example. The best thing is though that you have absolutely free hand to put together the UI that you want to have. You can switch off whatever part you like, so if there is something that in your opinion only takes up space, just click that hidden tick box. And even if you want to keep it, you can still play around with its transparency and relative size on the screen. The only thing that would be great to have is the ability to change the actual location of these blocks. At least until now, I did not find a way to move them to a different spot on my screen. Starting with your options from the top, let's kick it off first with a look at your minimap. But first of all, pro tip. Do not take this off your screen if you want to be even relatively competitive. You can shrink it and make it transparent if you just hate to obscure that lower right corner of your screen, but there is just so much useful information to be found here. Apart from the usual friendly and spotted enemy positions, this map will show by default the last spotted enemy positions, your view cone, your spotting, and your view distance as well. And that's not all. Artillery approximate locations will be revealed on this map too, not to mention the primary and secondary goal locations in the PvE mode. And if you are still not convinced, please remember that you can always enter the map by holding down your control key. Moving on swiftly to the vehicle status, this is about the damage panel of your own vehicle displayed on the lower left corner. This is vital to see what crew members or modules have been knocked out after taking a nasty shot, so probably this will be a no-brainer for pretty much everybody, unless you want to play movie style with literally nothing on your screen. Next up are the reticle settings, and hopefully this will be a bit more fleshed out in the future. It would be great to have a selection of differently styled reticles, as for the moment you are stuck with the standard one. You can, however, choose if you want reload time, your HP level, and the distance of the target shown there as well. Now, I had everything enabled so far, and I have to admit I never actually looked at anything but the reload timer, so I will probably take the others out just to clean my screen up a bit. Continuing with the toolbar, this is also a no-brainer. It really helps to choose between the ammunition types and activating your equipment, so at least until you can do everything with your eyes closed, I would suggest to keep it. Next, you can enable your FPS and ping counter. Pretty self-explanatory, I would say. And then you can also disable team chat if you would like to. Right now, the atmosphere is much better on average than in World of Tanks, for example, so you might just want to leave it on. Just keep in mind though that things will always change for the worse when the game is actually fully released and the player count suddenly jumps drastically. So enjoy it while it lasts. Next up, it's the battle log. That means the little messages above your minimap about destroyed and spotted vehicles. And then comes the team list, where you can enable or disable both your own and the enemy's team list separately if you wish. Scoreboard is the well-known counter on the top of the screen and probably a must-have for most PvP players, followed by the challenges, aka your primary and secondary goals, that is in return a must-have for PvE players. And finally, we arrive at the juicy bits at the end. Enemy and friendly tag selection lets you customize the information that you see above each vehicle. The most interesting part to mention here is probably the fact that you can simply enable here if you want to see what modules they have damaged or destroyed at the moment. And as for HUD details, this is basically a built-in damage panel that tracks your damage dealt and received as well separately. Now I had both enabled until now, but I will probably only keep the damage dealt section, as this is the one that really interests me. So, overall, it's not a bad selection for customizable bits and pieces. I mean, for sure it could be improved further without any doubt, but the foundations are quite solid, I would say. Really, if they can give us the option to reshuffle each part on your screen, or at the very least be able to change between different layouts, I would already be pretty happy with that. So, this was my very quick recap on your UI and base building options in Armored Warfare. I hope you found it useful. If you did, thanks a lot for considering giving it a like or sharing it. Next week I will be away on business trip once again, this time to Amsterdam, but I did prepare a video to be uploaded automatically while I'm away, so you don't have to miss my accent all that much. Have a great weekend, guys, and I look forward to seeing you again in one of the next videos.